for the October 15th event.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Awesome.
Could I parenthetically say it might be interesting now that I hear that number? Do we have to re-motion discuss this? The one person is driving from a bit of a distance, the first speaker, Dick Lutz. So could we offer him a stipend, say $45 because of gas to get here and back?
We have to do we might as well do a separate motion. If
Or
that's
put it in
something.
could it be in the 250? And that doesn't, was that enough of a sum that it doesn't cut into your pillars and Sapcrete?
It might be okay. We could probably figure it out.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
All right.
But let's have some of that be an honorarium.
Do we want a motion or do we have a consensus that we want to pay him some mileage? Any preference? What do you think?
Can we scope out the price of what it's gonna take for this Castle Loisel and just see where we end up, what we have left over?
Yeah. Maybe that's, if we have anything left over in the 250 we pay.
There you go.
Is he the only person that is coming?
Yeah,
as a
because
pri-
Juliana's here and the Kingston Conservation people are just right there.
So where's he coming from?
Where's the play? I should know by heart because I know. Where's the place that has the scarecrows and you drive around and see all the scarecrows?
Not the foggiest idea.
Yeah. Chester. That's a
Chester?
C, capital C.
Is that what you do?
Chester!
Chester.
Well, Kingston,
Chester has all the scarecrows.
The capital C.
Kingston, I mean, they'd be driving from Kingston, that's, not too much. Chester's not much farther than Kingston, so if we offer one, we probably should offer two.
They might like it to put into buying stuff that they distribute or whatnot. So maybe we need another motion to put 50 more bucks in that.
We also have another meeting before the event. Maybe
We
we
do.
could pin down our
That's
costs.
what I was thinking
Yeah,
with the
so buy the
whole
stuff,
getting
and
the
then
cost
we'll
and
figure
figuring
it
it
out,
out,
and
and
then
if we
motion
need to
that.
tack it on,
Think about-
then
People
we
can
can
think
tack
about
it
it, whether we think we want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Does that sound good? All right. All right. All right, we're gonna do,
Justice. You already have a man.
any other stewardship stuff before we go to committee reports? And then we have the one issue at Heron Point to talk before we wrap up, which is yes.
Just that I'm waiting to hear back from the Department of Transportation about the sign for Piscasset Loisel.
New road sign, yeah,
Their new sign, yeah, property sign.
awesome.
Oh,
I
nice.
looked at
Do
the
we-
I looked at the plan and deed for that as well as giving you that. So the easement to get across that parcel. So that parcel's boundary is like just in front of that stone wall that's out there.
Yep.
So if you want it way out in front, it would be in the state right away. And if you wanted it back there, I didn't see that we were allowed to have a sign there. Is that why it was kind of like a muted type sign? Because I didn't see that the easement said it was for egress, but I think that would be
Yeah, I
better,
think that's why we're talking about the state lets us
put it in the
in.
state.
Yeah, just sort of
Yeah.
phase one, seeing if they'll even allow it,
Yeah.
so.
Did we have a cost? Do you want to budget, you want to get approval for buying it? If we get approval, do we know what the cost would be?
I have not gotten that far,
Okay. no
but
worries.
I do, thank you.
Sure.
I've got a starting point,
Yeah,
so.
cool.
Do you remember what that was at? 475 or something?
Yeah, I think something like that, 450, 475. I estimated when I emailed the state that this sign would be just a little bit bigger than the Shopmire
Mhm.
sign, so.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, let's, any other stewardship stuff? Great, thank you. All right, committee reports, planning board.
We did not meet, we met before we're meeting next week.
Okay.
And we met before our last meeting, so we haven't met since
Alright.
Conservation's last meeting.
That works.
I actually haven't seen the agenda for our meeting next week, so.
Yeah. Bart, you want to, anything you want to say for town planner?
Town planner, Bart McDonough. Had some ideas, through that that presentation there for might be kind of interesting to explore. What would happen if you put like art next to the boundary markers, like a statue or something, like mushroom, statue, something like that. That kind of a troll or something like that. I think that'd be kind of neat.
Gargoyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Out on the Greenway.
Yeah.
On the Otis Hill Trail.
Yeah, gargoyle, or
Sounds like a
The
school project.
trolls.
so that kind of. I think that'd be kind of neat.
There's a troll out there?
Yeah.
There's one on the Otis Hill Trail.
Yeah, there's a,
Really?
Yeah, there's like a gargoyle or something like.
Oh my
in the
gosh, I
stone
haven't
wall.
seen
A
that.
rock troll.
There we
Yeah,
go.
it was
I
way-
knew there was a.
So I think
somebody
that would be a
cairn
cool
up there.
opportunity for the commission and artists or whatnot or sculptors to kind of collaborate
Makes sense.
and I don't know, make Newmarket a little more weird. Um,
Eclectic, I think
Eclectic,
the
there we
official
go.
word is eclectic.
Better
Get thesaurus right.
Politically
it's a little late.
correct
It's a little late.
Yeah, it's getting late. We get
My
work to do.
vocabulary is diminishing.
But you have your whole voice, so this
I do. I was at a plan board. Plan board's gonna have its first public hearing on the ADU ordinance. So that's coming up.
On the what?
Accessory dwelling unit amendments. Kind of like a granny flat, or to kind of expand those out. It's proposed to expand to different properties. So stay tuned for that. And nothing from a conservation perspective. Just a boundary line survey, and that's about it. Trying to think what else. That's all I have right now.
The CIP stuff has gone in, you had a meeting?
Yeah,
You had a meeting on that?
they requested Sam to come give a little presentation. We're still working out the details, but that's going through. That should be finishing up.
Sorry, that's next.
Yeah, Sam can speak to that next week. So that's happening relatively quickly and fast. Different day. Yeah, it's on Wednesday instead of Monday. So Sam and I can
Oh, gotcha.
talk about that offline. And I wrote something else here, but that's all I got right now.
Do you have enough, you talked about that New Hampshire plan for the riverfront for next year, talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have enough information to meet with those people?
Yeah, I'm going through the application right now. If I need anything, I'll reach out to the Conservation Commission. But I am applying for a design charrette for the riverfront, which basically, I think at the last meeting we kind of asked to think about questions. So the questions that I came up with right now are, let's see if I remember, how to connect to Heron Point from the riverfront. That's one, just an idea. So how would we connect? Would it be like through a bridge or easement, whatnot? So that's one question. The other question is, how do people use Shanda Park, or how to reimagine Shanda Park? In the sense, like, is there opportunities to reconfigure it? Is there enough parking there? Can the parking be reconfigured to add more green space? And then the other was, how do people use the riverfront, and how do they want to use the riverfront in the future? So those are the questions I was able to generate. If there's something else, definitely throw those in. But they really want in the application for us to submit questions. And so what are you trying to solve? What are you trying to do? Again, I'm planning on submitting the application at the end of September. So if you have any ideas in addition to that, be happy to submit that. Let's see, and then from planning side, I'm applying for Invest New Hampshire money. 25. So one grant would be for 25,000. That would go towards the master plan, and then another 100,000 for a rezoning effort that would be taken in the north end of town. So going towards that. So there's a lot of grant opportunities out there, and I'm not sure, Ellen, if you want to talk about Follets Brook.
Yeah, so I think we talked about it a little bit before. If you remember on the map that there's all these properties besides Piscataqua, Loisel, and Falls Brook, and we have the opportunity to sort of, maybe incorporate into a bigger picture and
Yeah.
look at trails, but we have no real assessment of, besides Piscataqua Gazelle, which we have more information about. We don't really have much information on those other properties in terms of natural resource values, trails. There shouldn't be any trails there, but do we want trails? So we were going to meet with LRAC in October, I think, at their meeting, and present some different ideas we have that we might apply for more money from them. So one was maybe a natural resource inventory for that Fallsbrook region. One was maybe a little bit more this planning charrette for the riverfront. And the other was maybe the prime wetlands update. So we wanted to share with them. We have all these really great ideas.
Yeah.
Can you support one or more of these ideas? Because they seem to have a lot of funding for community grants.
That's right.
Especially with the wetlands, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
we have that opportunity. So that's coming up, I think, after our next meeting. But
Right. Yep. I think end of October.
Yeah.
And also, Ellen and I have been exploring about how to connect our regional trail networks together. So, like, basically, how can our trails connect to Durham's trails, to connect to Lee's trails, and create a regional network?
Yeah.
And having that conversations with different stakeholders. Because ultimately, you know, a vision I have is how can we have an urban, rural trail network that you don't need a vehicle transportation to travel. So working with different communities and establishing those connections, I think would be very valuable for every community, but especially Newmarket. So especially if we're having all these different, or investing in all these different areas in town, like the riverfront and whatnot, our conservation easements. You know, those are assets and ones that a lot of people would get a lot of enjoyment out of, I think. So that's something we're exploring as well.
In conjunction with all that going on, it might be interesting for us to revisit Shannon Rogers, who wasn't available for the 15th, but to have her come and give a presentation kind of beefy like Emma's just was, so that we all are then equipped with ways to talk to the public about why are these things important. You know, we take it for granted. Okay, of course there's value in nature economy, but to help people understand what is the impact, or why do you want to be a volunteer, or what might this do to your taxes, or why even come to a charrette, because now you're learning a little bit more from her perspective about what's in it for Newmarket, but what's in it for you, and we have to kind of think about some of the individual stakeholders as well.
Absolutely.
So she's the UNH professor who
Yes.
works on this stuff. Do you want to ask her for one of our future meetings? Not October, and we have November already.
Yes, I could certainly do that. That'll be helpful.
I think that fits in with these ideas we have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Facilitation and outreach is very important in all this. I agree.
Great.
It's key.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bart. Riverfront?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a concrete update to offer on the Riverfront Committee right now. We had kind of juggled our schedule so that we actually met 3 days before our last Conservation Commission, so we could talk about the CIP articles. Our next meeting is actually Monday, so we haven't met again yet, and it sounds like potentially Wednesday we'll have a chance to get to present those to the CIP Committee, which will be great. So hopefully within a week or so we'll have a little bit better update, or at least something more that can be passed on.
Sounds good. Hopefully. Good stuff. All right, any other committee stuff? I've got one last agenda item. So a woman called into town hall and wanted to have her wedding ceremony at Heron Point Sanctuary. We kind of went around in circles in town. It went maybe Shanda Park, and then now it's back to Heron Point Sanctuary. I talked to the woman. As you know, the only place we have permits is Shanda Park. And so Heron Point Sanctuary, so I talked to her. She wants, this is September 24th at 1 p.m. And less than 30 people, 10 of which are kids, wedding celebration, just standing there. They're not bringing anything on. They're not bringing chairs or anything. And then it'd be like a half an hour, and then they would leave. And they're going to carpool, so it'll be like 5 or 6 cars. So we don't really have any policies related to this sort of thing. It's essentially a group going to use the place. I mean, they could have probably just done it and not asked, right? So my feeling was, And I talked to her about, you know, we're not giving you a permit, we're not closing the sanctuary, you can't put up signs, that you can't inhibit anybody else from coming there and so forth. And so I was somewhat amenable to the idea. Again, for me, it seems like a group of people, but it does, if we could say, yes, we can decide tonight. Obviously, it's like in a week and a half, so we should decide tonight. But whichever way we decide, I think it prompts the question that perhaps at some point we should start thinking about, maybe not permits, because I'm not sure we want to get into that business, but a little bit more about large group uses of the conservation areas in terms of what we think are good and, yeah, so.
There's not a town ordinance on large group uses of town lands or public, I know you can't gather in groups of over so many, like on the sidewalk without a
Yeah,
permit. I didn't
think
know if
on
that
conservation
went
areas,
to,
like there's
like-
no alcohol, there'd be there'd be no alcohol, obviously we'd say you can't bring, no bringing things, you can't put signs, you can't have music, but it has to be in the spirit of the sanctuary, so basically it's a ceremony on that boardwalk, we want to do it in that platform with the waterfall in the back.
Can that platform hold that many people at once?
It's on pretty solid ground, I would think so, it was built for 30 houses or something, and so if they had everybody on there at once, I assume it's okay. I don't think I'd have any concern about that. It's a good question.
My only concern, I mean, aside from that, but I mean, whatever, would be the keeping them to the commuting together, keeping the traffic
Yeah.
down for that private neighborhood in there.
I totally agree, and
Yeah.
I think that's really important since it's a, critical access and sensitive access, so, other thoughts about?
Yeah.
No balloons.
No
yeah.
balloons.
Yeah, we can say, yeah, I mean, essentially, you can't bring anything, I mean, maybe some flowers, a bouquet, but we're really saying, no, you can't, anything you bring, you gotta take off, but in terms of, if you have anything.
So we can't really, so there's nothing you can really, I'm not saying I want to stop the vote, it doesn't matter to me actually, but, so there's nothing to, like, they could do it if they wanted to. So there's nothing to regulate, right? I mean, it is what it is.
That's essentially.
And they just
so-
simply have to look at the sign and say, there's a list of rules on this sign, as long as we follow these
Yeah.
rules where.
I think so, that's why I said I appreciate you asking, because,
Yeah.
I mean, at least you've asked, and they seem she was respectful of the idea that, well, maybe she couldn't do it, but then I thought, well, somebody suggested Sienna Park, and I'm like, a wedding at Sienna Park
Yeah.
doesn't sound at
That's
all.
we've done that before.
Has there been weddings?
Yeah, we have done, we've had
With
done
30 people?
permits.
With 30
I don't remember, but I remember doing like several way back in, years ago.
So you did permit weddings?
Yes.
Yeah.
The lobster
Yeah.
big thing is way more than 30 people at Shannon Park.
Oh, yeah.
So what?
Well, there's picnic tables and stuff there too,
That-
and it's easier to get to. You park downtown or in the parking lot or whatever. But there is that neighborhood consideration with Heron Point.
This is always the thing where I can't guarantee exclusive use, even though you have a permit. I can't stop someone from going there. So.
Yeah. So
But
do
you won't
think
permit two
Sharon- I mean,
events.
she was,
So.
if Shanda Park was an option, I think they would do it there. But, so would that be a preference for everybody? I had thought that we had talked last year about we didn't really permit like private events there, but maybe, it sounds like you have.
We have in the past. I know for a fact. Yeah. I can't. Yeah.
And up 30 people
A lot of
are?
weddings. Yeah. I remember weddings since I've been in town. Yeah.
Okay. Would you prefer to be there since there is a permit system?
It doesn't matter to me actually. I don't mind either way.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we said with the Heron Point though, keeping the traffic down, just knowing that can be a sore
Yeah.
spot.
I think part of the thing with Shannon Park was so that we knew what was going on and that two people didn't plan events there on the same day,
Yeah.
because you wouldn't permit two things at the same time. I think that was kind of the idea.
So, if we're amenable either way, do you want me to talk to her and say we would give you a permit if you wanted to go with Shannon Park, or you're gonna follow these rules if you
Yep.
go to Heron Point? Does that sound like a fair?
Heron Point is lovely.
Yeah, I would never get married in Shannon Park in public, but that's me.
Shannon Park's there, the bathroom's right there and everything.
Well, if they're just, it sounds like they're just doing a ceremony, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
just
it's
a
only
ceremony.
30 minutes, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not a party.
Right.
It's just ceremony.
Yeah, they live in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a quick
That's
thing,
fine.
so.
And congratulations.
Yeah. Okay, so,
It's a funny precedent.
I think it'd be helpful for me to have a motion to say we're, okay with either place, given either we give them a permit, or I write up some specs for the Heron Point site. Can someone make a motion for that?
Can,
Or what do you think, just consensus?
I mean, I think that we've done, we did them before we had an application. I know we would pre-approve an application that somebody requested it, and we said, you have to fill out the application, but we don't
Well,
have it.
she actually, she
but we
did
don't have it
because
before us.
she actually did fill out the application. It's essentially. you
Oh,
know,
for, the one for Shanda?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she got kind of bumped around in terms of Heron Point versus Shanda, so.
So you could approve that one because it's required, and then the other one's not even required, right?
Yeah, so she could decide, I guess.
And then just
Place.
decide on her.
I think maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I have this little gut feeling that if we just did a consensus, we're not setting any precedent.
Right.
This incident,
Yeah.
on this day, we said, okay.
Yeah,
If we really make a motion and vote, then someone's
Right.
gonna say, well, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
voted
Okay.
for this,
Well,
I
that-
want you to vote for that.
That's what I was thinking, like Shanda has the process and the thing that we voted on in the past, and Heron Point doesn't. So
Yeah.
don't vote on Heron Point. If you want to use it, right?
yeah,
And vote on Shanda if they want to use it, would be my perspective. Because one
Okay.
has a precedent already set, and why set another? Right.
I mean, since there's a permit process for Shanda,
That's-
would we even need to vote on it?
We always voted on them before.
yeah, we always vote on the permits,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
for
we voted
sure.
on Jerry's earlier tonight, so. I guess I think I'd prefer not to give two options, like either we vote on giving the permit and she's gonna go here. But like you said, I guess she could decide if she wants Heron Point. We don't really have, I'd like to guide them in one or the, I mean, it could be either, but like, we need to provide guidance for both if we're leaving that open, do you think? Okay. All right, let's take a motion to, if we're going to approve for her to use, for the couple to use, Shanda Park, Emily Norton, and fiance for September 24th at 1 p.m. for 30 minutes, roughly.
Shanda Park, I'll
Shanda-
second that.
Shanda Park. Discussion? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. I will let her know she can use Shanda Park or Emily Norton, N-O-T-O-N, N-O-R-T-O-N. All right, well, she'll be happy that she can get married somewhere in town.
Got choices.
Very good. All right, thank you for all that. Yeah, well, that's their problem now. Yeah. Okay, so if we can make a motion to adjourn, and then if you can hang on to get your field files for the easements you're gonna monitor, that'd be great.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so.